Hey, hi everyone, welcome back to Codeators and let's solve another SQL problem. So this problem is swapped food delivery. This question has been asked in Zomato and let's read out the problem. So the question says like Zomato is a leading online food delivery service that connects user with various restaurants and cuisines, allowing them to browse menus, place orders and get meals delivered to their doorsteps. Recently, Zomato encountered an issue with their delivery system due to an error in the delivery driver instructions. Each item was swapped with the item in the subsequent row. As a data analyst, you are asked to correct this swapping error and return the proper pairing of order ID and item. If the last item has an odd order ID, it should remain as the last item in the corrected data. For example, if the last item is order 6, if the last item is order ID 7, tandoori chicken, then it should remain as order ID 7 in the corrected data. Okay. And in the result, return the corrected pairs of order IDs and item. So it says that you have given a table, input data is there, and the table name is orders. This table consists of two columns, order ID and item. Order ID will have the ID, the subsequent IDs, and item will have the name of the food. Okay, let's go through the example. Order ID 1 is having chow mein, order ID 2 is having pizza, order ID 3 is having pad thai, order ID 4 is having butter chicken, order ID 5 is having egg roll, 6 burger, 7 tandoori chicken respectively. Okay, now what it's saying that all the IDs have been swapped. Okay, so in ideal case the original ID of chow mein is 2 and of pizza is 1. Okay, so it got swapped. So what you have to do, you have to correct the order. Okay, or you can say that you can reverse swap it or swap it so that to form it in the original format. Let me explain you with a very easy example. So let's understand the question. Okay, so suppose that you have given this table, here the ID 1 2 3 4 5 and the items are A B C D and E. Okay, so and this is disturbed one. Okay, I mean it is swapped, so you have to reverse it to make it in original shape. So with the question it says that A should be at B's position and B should be at A's position. Okay, same for C and D. C should be on D's position and D should be on C's position. And what about last? So if the last ID or if the last ID is odd, okay, if it is odd, then leave it. Okay, leave it as it is. Okay, so understand now with this, the actual ID of B is 1, it got swapped. Okay, actual ID of A becomes 2, same for C and D, and E will be left. Okay, now analyze one more part here. Okay, just try to analyze, pause this video, understand what exactly we are swapping. We are just swapping these two values. Okay, now these two, and these two are independent values. Okay, these two are independents. Okay, now there is one thing to note. Okay, what is like every ID is like, so if something is there of about the consecutive values, and try to think of something with the ordinary one. It's not mandatory, but generally it occurs. Okay, so what it says here, the ID is 1, so it's odd. ID is 2 is even, 3 is odd, 4 is even, and 5 is odd. Okay, it says that A should not be here, here it should be B, or if I say it in reverse fashion, the ID of A should be B's ID, which is 2. Cool. The ID of B should be A's ID, which is 1. Same for C, it should be 4, and same for D, it should be 3, and it should be 5 here. Now try to understand what I exactly did. Somehow I like, just let's do this analysis. Okay, it's like it was originally 1, I added this something 1 and make it 2. Okay, I'm trying to make a relation between these two, to be very honest. Okay, so you can see that I added something and to make it 2. Okay, because this will always see, as the question says, this particular will always be swapped with the next one. Okay, so that is sure for sure, and this is for this one. So if you think A is one step down and B is one step up, okay, that is why if you add 1 to ID, okay, you will get 2. If you subtract 1, sorry, not here, if you subtract 1, so 2 minus 1, you can get 1. If you add 3 plus 1, you can get 4. If you add 4 minus 1, so don't think like what I'm doing is okay. Let me redraw it for you. I think it has created confusion. So this is given, correct? This is given. Now, as you know, the swapping will happen with these two only. That's correct. And here it should be with 3 and 4. Okay, and 5 is an odd, so it will be left alone. Cool. Now here it should be 2 and 1 originally. Okay, it should be 1 instead of, it should be 2 and it should be 1. Same, it should be 4 and it should be 3. Now try to analyze the pattern, or in simple, if I add id 1 to this one, so the original IDs are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I add something here, 1, it will give me 2, which is correct. If I subtract 1, it will give me 1, which is correct. If I add 1, it will give me 4, which is correct. And if I subtract 1, it will give me correct, which is 3, right? And here it will be 5 only, so I will take care of this one. So now understand again one thing. Here I did a plus 1, here I did a minus 1, here I did a plus 1, here I did a minus 1. Now see here, odd plus 1, even minus 1, odd plus 1, even minus 1. Okay, so I can say this id plus 1 and id minus 1. So I can write, if it is odd, then do an id plus 1, and if it's an even, do an id minus 1. Correct? Okay, what about end one? So end one will be like, if if let's write, if the last element, if the last is odd, then no change. Correct? Now break this down. So if last, how you will get this last value? So last, I can get last value by counting the complete set. Okay, you know this, it's in a it's in a id column and it will be consecutive. So if you do a total count on the complete table, what you will get? You will get the last value. Or if I say, for example, if your table is having 1, 2, 3, 4, and if you want the value of last, okay, and this is id column, be specific, this is not no normal column, it's an id column, it should be consecutive and incremental by 1. This is its criteria. Okay, so if I want to get 4, how could I get 4? I'll just do a count on this total one. Okay, and it will give me 4, which is equals to the last value or the last id. Same for 5. If I just do a total count, then I'll get this 5 value. Correct? Now back to the question. So here last, so if I do something like this, select star from table, right, I'll get this one. If this is odd, now here I will check if it is odd or not, which is I'm already doing here, then no change. Okay, so let's write this logic. Okay, so if your ID is odd. If it is odd, then it should be ID plus 1, case 1. This is your case 1. This is your case 1. Your case 2, if ID is even, then ID minus 1. Okay. If uh, if the ID is odd, if the ID is odd, okay, and the ID is odd and it's a last element, okay, last element, in that case just give it as ID. Okay, now you will face one problem here. What problem you will face is, see, condition 1 and 3. Okay, so condition 1 and 3, it says if ID is odd, and here also if ID is odd. Okay, so it won't do the difference. Okay, how it will how it will bifurcate that this ID, this odd number or this odd ID will taken care in this case or in this case. Okay, that will be one confusion. Okay, what we can do is either place the third case at the very first, so it will check at the very first time, else add another condition and say like that, if your ID is even and ID is not equals to your total count. Okay, second case, if ID is odd. Okay, excuse me for my handwriting. Okay. If ID is odd, then and it's not equals to total count, then here it should be ID minus 1 and it should be ID plus 1, right? And another case will be lower, if ID is equals to odd and ID is also equals to total count, then just the ID, nothing else, no transformation, no operation. Okay, this is the complete logic, or you can say the complete understanding. Okay, you can solve this question with any other also, but yeah, see, if you have come to this section, I would highly recommend you go to the question link and solve it. You are enough to solve this problem now. Okay, now it's just writing the SQL, that's all. This is the whole understanding brainstorming part. Now come to the question. I hope you somehow you have solved this. If not, let's solve it together. Let's print this out. Yeah, it's here. Okay, you can see this, that the last one is spaghetti and it's an odd, just for your reminding purpose. So let's write this one. So I want ID and item. Okay, cool. And I want another column, which will be my this one, the order, the corrected order ID. Okay, so let me write the cases here. Case statement. So when ID modulo 2 equals to 1, this says that it's an odd number, and ID is not equals to total count. So how you will find the total count? Just write a subquery here, select count. You can write star from this one, orders. Okay. So this will give you this, the total count of the records. So this is an it says that ID is odd and it's not equals to the last value. So what you will do is, then in that case, then ID plus 1, correct? Now when id modulo 2 is equals to 0, which is even, and id is not equals to, so select count star from orders. Okay, in that case id minus 1. Now another, when id is odd, so it's odd, and it is equals to, an id is equals to your this section, which is, let me copy this one, then id, that's all. Okay, now end the case statement with end as, end as, what is this, this is my corrected order id. Okay, let's print this. Okay, it should be corrected id also there, right? Why it's not printing id? Where is id? id corrected order id. So I've selected id. Okay, it's my bad, it's order id. Okay, so I have made the changes. Okay, what problem it was earlier, like it was, I was writing id instead of order id, and if I go to the table, it was order id, not id. Okay, so I have just updated id to order id. Okay, so now if you can see the output, here is orders, order id, item, and corrected order id. So as discussed, pizza, uh, like the id for chow mein is 1 and for pizza it's 2, whereas it should be 1 for pizza and 2 for chow mein, which is here, so it is corrected here. Okay, and if you see here, 15 is an odd and it's a last element, and that is why it will not change. So it is correct as expected. Now we want only these two columns, corrected id and item. So let's select these two items only. So let me write this in subquery and just select this one, corrected order id and item. Okay, from here, write it, give an alias of table and order by. So okay, let's print this out first. Let's go step by step. So okay, this is here, but it's not correct because it should be order by. Okay, let's see the id, pizza, chow mein, and it should be pizza first. So just do a short on this one. Okay, so just do a short or do an order by. Run this, and here it is. Let's submit this. Okay, and now it's accepted. So yeah, we solved this problem. This is how the solution looks like. I hope some of you have figured this out, and remember, there can be different way to solve this problem. Okay, so if you have solved this problem a different way, do post it in the comment section, and yeah, let's help the community. So if you like this video, please share it with your friends, give it a thumbs up, and if you have any suggestion for me, do post in the comment section. Thank you all. Happy coding.